regardless of what you do. If you get to love what you do for a living, it's, you're very fortunate. And so I think probably going on 10 years now where there's no day job, and just like, I'm just acting for a living, auditioning. And well, I guess it's difficult to separate the craft from the career at times. But I mean, I think that was definitely a moment it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing it.
Filmmaker Magazine presents Back to One with Peter Rinaldi.
Feodor Chin is an actor. He sat down with me on the Upper West Side of Manhattan to talk about the work.
Do you have a typical way that you like to begin your preparation process when you get a new character?
Well, I would say that, and this, I can attribute this to one of my favorite acting coaches, Larry Moss.
Yes.
Legendary.
Yes.
But his big thing was basically the actor's job is to serve the writer. Your job is to serve the story, is to serve the script, and so that's generally how I approach just about any project. If you have the whole script, or if even it's just a scene, say for an audition, you look at, well, what is the story the writer is trying to tell here, and then you kind of work your way backwards as far as like, well, what is my part in that, and what is my role, and it's can be something as basic as if you're, say, auditioning for like a procedural, like a Law and Order or something. There's within the story, there's because it's pretty formulaic that you're either the killer or the rapist, the criminal, and that's very clear what your part would be. Or you could be the red herring, or you could be just like the eyewitness at the very end, the cold open, like we saw him over there, and so it's just knowing that like that is your purpose in the story, that can be a very helpful kind of shorthand to help you create that character. And just knowing that like if you are the red herring, your job is to make the audience think that you're the one who's done it, and that can inform your performance.
Right. And it's almost like it's a good example, because everyone knows that show, and everyone knows these characters, these types. But if you go in, like, let's just say you got the audition, but you're like you get there, you're like, I think I'm gonna shake it up a little bit, like, and you're acting like the murderer when you're just the guy that they're talking to,
right, exactly.
And you're doing this thing because you're adding, you want to add, some, right. But that's not serving the story.
exactly.
Obviously they'll stop you, be like, what the fuck are you doing? But it's interesting, like someone could be like, well, no, I'm just I'm just giving this so much. I'm giving this something. And I'm sure there are people out there that the cops talk to that are in their own world, like the star of their own movie, and they're acting like really weird, but it's not going to serve the story.
And ultimately, that's what it's about. And I think, for I think a lot of young actors, or maybe when you're just starting out, like there's that feeling of if you get the classic like under five, like, oh, here's your coffee, sir, and think like, well, I'm gonna make something. I'm like, here's your coffee, sir. And it's like, well, no, like, how is that serving the story? And you're never gonna get that part if you do it. We just have to know that, like, well, my purpose is to give the lead his coffee, and that and just accept that, and that's I think when certainly when you're younger and hungry, and you're just looking to make your mark, you think that's the way. It's like, no. I mean, your job is to serve the story. And I think in an interesting way, I feel like, for me at least, it takes a lot of pressure off.
Right.
In that you're just part of this. You're part of a team, really, and everyone has their job, and you just know your job and do your job, and because I think certainly a lot of folks can get some kind of performance anxiety, or you just like, oh, everyone's looking at me. It's like, well, no, but if your focus is on the story, or if you can take your focus outside yourself,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of the pressure off.
Yes.
You know.
How obsessive do you get about this though? Like, do you when you know you're going to be on a certain show, do you watch every episode of that show? Like, and what I mean by this is like, there's a certain extent where you know what kind of character you have to be on the show, but do you want to know more in depth about the tone of this show in an intimate way before you go on? And how much do you do that?
Generally, if I'm not already familiar with something, I'll watch at least one episode. I mean, I don't think I generally, at least me, I need to do like a deep dive into something, but just enough to get, you
don't have to enter the fan club of the show as an honorary member.
I mean, I don't think, I mean, I think, it wouldn't hurt, I guess, but, personally, I think, as long as you understand the tone or like the pace or something, especially with comedies. I think to get the feeling, okay, what kind of comedy is this? That can be helpful.
But I guess if you got the audition, right, that's your green light.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And for something like, if you're auditioning for a pilot or something, there's no existing, and then you're kind of on your own anyway.
Right.
So, and I think again, it just goes back to, looking at the sides, and sometimes if they give you, say, like the entire script for, that episode, you'd certainly, be helpful to read it. But and from that, you would hopefully be able to glean enough information as far as like, okay, what kind of comedy is this, or is this, drama, or is it, procedural? What are we working on here? And then that usually should be enough.
Tell us how you came to this endeavor in the first place, and did you know that you wanted to get trained? And did you know that was an integral part of this? And you went to UCLA, right?
Yes,
was that the first place that you went to get some training?
For me personally, it all kind of started with, like a lot of folks, in high school, and certainly. It was actually English class. We were reading Death of a Salesman that semester. And our teacher, Ms. Fuller, she showed us, it was Dustin Hoffman's performance as Willy Loman on Broadway. I think they kind of made like a TV movie of it. And just as a teen, I just remember like, wow, just being like just blown away by this, particularly his performance in that, because it seemed to me, it seemed so transformative for him, because I don't even, at the time, he certainly probably wasn't actually old enough to play that role, but you're like, wow, he's really embodying this Willy Loman there, that just struck me. It's like, that's something I think I'd like to do. I mean, without even really knowing what that entailed, but. So I think I took probably the drama class in high school, and then did the school plays and musicals and what you could do, and after graduating, went to UCLA, studied theater there.
What were you like at that point? Were you puffed up?
I think you do have to have a certain self-confidence bordering on like you say, just being puffed to get into it in the first place. Because it can be very scary. And I remember certainly at least those first like high school performances, like just kind of standing in the wings waiting to go on, and literally just like shaking, like this,
But did you like that feeling?
I think, I mean, I think certainly, part of me did, because it just, you're just aware of like, oh, I feel so alive. But eventually, that goes away with training and with some foundation of like actually knowing what to do. Because I think a lot of that fear, at least when you're starting out, comes from like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And, so I think that the training absolutely, is important. It's vital.
When you went there, were you thinking, okay, there are holes in my approach here? Like there is something I think I am going to gain from this experience of this of this college?
The truth of it is that, my mother was like, I am not paying for a theater BA. I wasn't technically a theater major at UCLA. I ended up being a communication studies. But I was a de facto theater major. I spent all my time there, took all the classes I could, ended up doing probably more plays and main stage plays than a lot of my friends who were in the department even. Just because I knew it was something that, I wanted to do and something I loved. And also knowing that, I knew for me, I wanted the training, but because certainly Hollywood is what it is, that it is possible to make it as an actor with no training whatsoever. But that's certainly not something that I was looking to attempt. To me, it was important to certainly get as much training as I could.
When did your mom come around? Because she must have come around.
It was a long time. It was a long time, and it was certainly many holidays when I'd return home, and there's the post office is hiring, but, it's not too late to get,
My friend used to call that the battle of Christmas. Go home and deal with all the family, asking, "What are you still doing that? You're still trying to do that?"
No, it. I think I would say to this day, but no, I think she has definitely accepted. This is what he's doing, and but certainly, so because I think ultimately, like any parent, they just, they want you to be okay, and not,
but I guess you didn't let it get to you. I mean, there are ways. I mean, obviously, everyone could benefit from support from that area, but you must have just loved it and just were like, I don't need, I guess I'll deal with this. I'll deal with it without the support.
Yeah, well, I think they, they, in spite of, probably them, wishing or wanting me to have done something else, they were always, supportive. I think, that they would rather have I'd tried, something else, but so I think, I was very fortunate in that, they were still supportive in spite of, them, occasionally encouraging me to perhaps look into, teaching, or, the usual
something they can put their hand on.
Right. Yeah.
Was the transition to camera acting something that was easy to go through from doing all that theater stuff?
No, I think to this day, I think I'm still it's something. It's always a bit of an adjustment, especially if you've been doing a show or a play, because there really is a difference right now. The show we're doing at Lincoln Center, it's a probably 200, 300 seat house. How you perform on stage there is going to be different than if you were going to film, that, because you really, and I'm sure you've talked to folks about this before, but certainly, on stage, and especially in that space where it's pretty much in the round, and so there's always going to be someone looking at the back of your head. You kind of have to convey whatever you're feeling. It has to come off your body, through, behind you even. And that is a certainly a different kind of intensity, or a different kind of intention that you would do on camera, because the camera just picks up everything, and so you really you do much less. And I think for folks who do a lot of theater, I think that can be difficult initially to remember that, or to make that transition to just doing less, because on camera, something that would be right for the stage would probably not look right, on film.
When you saw that was going to be kind of in the round, but it is kind of a small theater in a way.
It's a nice, it is a more intimate space, for sure.
I guess I mean like the transition from like rehearsal to the space and like realizing what the space is like, what you just said about like how the back of, how he has to come out of the back of your head. Do you adjust easy to that?
I mean, I think it's always a bit of an adjustment, but yeah, it's definitely, if you're aware of it, it makes it easier to do. And I think, basically, it's like they say, it's that old that you're playing to whoever is sitting in the last row.
Yeah.
If you keep that in mind, and even just mentally thinking that will physically, I think, make you adjust for that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that as long as you're aware of it, I think that. But yeah, I know for me, if I go see a show, the most annoying thing is like I can't hear them.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you just got to be aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of times if you find the reverse, if a lot of like TV or film people, try doing theater, and a lot of times it's just like, what are they saying? Because it's just like they think, no, there is no, I mean, or you just hope they have, good mics or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a different.
And you notice that there are mics around the table.
Yes, yeah.
Because it's the equivalent of kind of like a boardroom, boardroom.
Yeah.
And then so sometimes you're speaking into the mic.
Right. Yeah.
And then you obviously have to do a minor adjustment of like, I'm not going to be yelling into this thing. And that just feels like that's just more hardship.
Yeah.
Being like, all right, now I have to
There was definitely more props and more kind of tech in this show than I think any I might have worked on before. But it's really cool because I think that they've done such a great job. But
you seem like you're really having fun.
Oh
too.
Gosh. Oh yeah. We all are.
Because its energy is so high.
It's such an active show and such an ensemble piece that honestly, the first couple weeks rehearsal and then even going into previews, I think it was thrilling, but it was also a good deal of panic because it's such an ensemble piece that like if your attention drifts for even just a second and you drop that ball, it's just everything's gonna go. And it's just like, and you don't want to be the one to like, oops, I fucked that up. I'm sorry.
Because it then literally will take like 20 minutes to get back.
Right. Yeah, because it's not a musical, but like it's such a choreographed kind of show. It feels, there's a real rhythm to it that you want to maintain. But so it's exciting, but definitely the first couple, it was scary because it's like, oh, this is this is pretty terrifying. But
it doesn't feel like calculated. I think that's a huge compliment. It doesn't feel like sculpted in this way that's like choreographed in a bad way.
Right.
It doesn't feel like that.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that, yeah.
And, and of course, now is the time where it's about to end.
I know for myself, it was probably even maybe just last week, we're kind of like 2 weeks into the run, that I finally like felt like super comfortably, like, okay, I'm gonna like, let's have fun here. Because certainly, there's even going into previews, there was you would just get off stage and just immediately have to check the running order, like what's next, because it was so because it was just so active, and it's just like and a lot of the scenes, it's like different climate conferences that you saw. They can feel similar. And you might be in one and like, oh wait, what am I saying? Where are we? And so it was just
because I didn't think about that when it's the same set.
Exactly.
And you're going, it's like
right,
and you're basically the same costume, right? Kind of, right?
Yeah, it could be very,
and then it just like, what do you have that's different? To show you it's different. There's nothing.
It's
When you do something like this, does it make you want to continue to look for stuff on the stage? I mean, I know it doesn't pay. We have to be real as much as maybe other things like landing some kind of thing on a show. That's going to keep going.
I'm always open to doing more theater for sure. But I think I've been really fortunate in the last Kyoto included in the last play I did at it was Berkeley Rep last year, the Far Country. They're just really good projects, but they're also about something. And certainly, Kyoto, about climate change, about agreement, especially in this time. It's a line in the play that he calls it our golden age of disagreement, which I think is very apt for these times. And I think it's you don't often get to work on something that is both that it's good, but it's also it has a message. It has there's it's about something, and so I'm certainly always open to an opportunity like that. But it's can be few and far between.
Right. Everything is a question mark in this endeavor, isn't it? Big question marks, small question marks, all the time.
Right.
Was there a moment, it could have been long ago or maybe not so long ago, where something changed and you realized, okay, I went from this level to this next level in terms of this work, and it could be just because somebody you worked with and they showed you something that unlocked something, or it could be just a certain challenge that you faced and overcame, or it could just be like the 15th time you did something, and then it just was like, all right, that now I feel like I got this.
Well, I think when I was certainly after college or right out of college and thinking, trying to start this career, I had always said, I will be happy if I can just, live and work as an actor, and that's my only job, and be able to pay my bills and whatever just from acting. I don't need to be on magazine covers or whatever, I think acting is one of those professions where it because obviously some people go into it for thinking for the fame or whatever, but it is one of those jobs that certainly if you're good at it, you're going to be known or you're going to be recognized, and so fame is certainly a potential collateral part of it. But for me, it was just, this is something I love to do, and I would love to be able to do that for a living. And I think certainly the luckiest people in the world, regardless of what you do, if you get to love what you do for a living, that's you're very fortunate. And so I think it probably was at some point where I was able to quit any kind of day job and be like, oh yeah, I've achieved what in just in sense that and of course this is another actor thing where it's basically every job potentially feels like, well, this could be the last time I'm working. So there is always that uncertainty.
Yes.
But for now, I've been fortunate enough that there's always something else on the horizon, and so I think whenever that was, I don't know how many years ago now, but that
that was some time ago,
a bit ago. It's got to be at least probably going on 10 years now, where there's no day job, and just I'm just acting for a living, auditioning, and I guess it's difficult to separate the craft from the career at times, but But I think that was definitely a moment to, it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah. And it's almost like you realize like I cracked this code in a way. Like this is like so many people that are talented can't do that for some reason.
Well, I think that's the other part of it too, is that if you're looking at acting as a career, it is a marathon, and I think a lot of folks, part of it is, honestly just sticking around.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, whether you're in LA or New York, it's just getting to the point where the casting directors, get to know you and know that you're a trustworthy, commodity. Like this is someone that I can, trust that, would be able to deliver, a particular performance, when needed, and so yeah, I think there's always going to be talented folks, and talented folks who don't make it, but maybe if they'd stuck around a little bit longer, maybe but everyone has their own circumstances, and it can be difficult, obviously, and so I think it's helpful to find your people, your support group, whatever it is to help you facilitate that, if it's genuinely something that you love and want to do.
When did you get into voice work? How soon on this journey were you doing that? And that's another code you cracked that so many people want to crack. And find it hard, more hard than ever, I think. It seems like the dark cloud is over that more than ever because of AI, right?
Absolutely.
But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about
well, we can get into that. You can go on and on. But no, if I kind of looking back on how I started and that kind of thing, that certainly as an actor, for the craft, you always hear about being open. And whether that means, being open emotionally, or being open to your scene partner, being able to receive things and being open to possibilities. And I think that is certainly, it's true of, the craft of acting, but I think it's also true for your career, in that, I think if you truly love to act, if you are open to different possibilities, you will find your way. And I think it's great to have dreams and goals, but if you're like, say, solely focused on, I want to be on Broadway, it's like, well, you're kind of making it a little more difficult for yourself, as opposed to if you just, I want to act. There's so many different venues, different avenues for you to do that. And one of those, like you're saying, is voiceover, which, a lot of people might not initially consider. And even within voiceover, you have, certainly there's video games, there's commercial work, there's animation, and there's audiobooks, so there's so many different avenues for you to act, that I think being open to all these possibilities is helpful. And so for me, so after I graduated from UCLA, I returned home to San Francisco for a couple of years, just wasn't sure, how exactly to get started. And certainly, I think living with your parents is always that good option, initially when you're, trying to, get your feet, under you. And so in San Francisco, there is certainly, there's a lot of theater, there's commercial work, industrials, and so it's obviously not LA or New York, but it's a smaller market, but there is work available. And so when I had signed up with an agent there, they basically sent you out on everything. The commercials, voiceover, print. And so you kind of, had to be, open to these different possibilities, because they were, sending you out on all these different kind of things. And so I think that definitely helped me to have like an open kind of point of view to look at these, different kinds of acting jobs, and to pursue them all. And so it was very fortunate in that, my first couple of jobs, I think, were in voiceover, like a couple of radio spots, and I booked my first video game there, and this is how long ago it was. It was, at the time, it was one of the first games for, at the time, the brand new Xbox. I think it just come out, and so, but yeah, so it was certainly a great introduction into that world, and I think that gave me at least a foothold into something that I probably initially would not have thought to pursue. and like you're saying, like now, yeah, a lot of folks, just, I want to do voiceover. I want to do, either specifically video games or anime or something. And again, I say that's great. I definitely encourage you, but again, be open to other possibilities, because like you're saying, like, and now because of AI and stuff, it is these jobs are becoming harder to get and more scarce, and a lot of folks are thinking like, yeah, voiceover, that's the way. It's like, well, yeah, you could definitely go after it, but again, be open to different possibilities.
And is there some kind of a secret to keeping it going in terms of staying in the mind of these people that cast your voice on things? You know what I mean? Like, you're already in the circles of that.
Right.
But do you have to like actively do something to keep yourself? Because it's different than in the other acting work, because of course you have a face in the other acting work, and you have that makes you a certain type because of that face and this. But you could change your voice to so many different things. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's what's happened when you hear people that have had a career early for instance, in the 80s or 90s. It's changed now primarily because they're getting celebrities to do a lot of this stuff, and it's taking away a lot of this work. The celebrities weren't doing that at that time. And so it's dwindling down on both ends. Where it's like they can get blank to do it, and it's recognizable voice. So how do you stay in the mind of these people that are casting?
That is if there is a way, I don't know it. I love that. Is a great question, because you would hope that certainly that the work speaks for itself. But it
might be that.
Hopefully. I think you do tend to get a lot of repeat customers, and hopefully it's because like I was saying, like, because these casting directors, they get to know you, and they know that, like, okay, this is a guy I can trust to deliver.
And are you easy to work with? I guess I can't ask you that if you got somebody else. But that must be part of it.
I'd like to think so. Hopefully. No, you're right.
Able to take a note. There's so many notes in this. Maybe more than any other type of acting. In terms of the exacting manner of which is where, of course, a split the difference comes from. Right. And like if you're able to do that, then that sets you apart.
I think it's true. Not only voiceover, just any acting job. Ultimately, it's they're looking. The audition is about looking to see, like, okay, is this guy not crazy? And like, can I spend however much time with like, do I want to hang out with this person? And so I think being amenable and easy to work with, I would think is something that you would but then you hear stories of, like, it always perplexes me that it's like, oh, this guy is such an asshole. It's like, but like, why is he still working?
Exactly.
But I don't know. I think there is that feeling of, like, well, genius. Sometimes you have to give him some. But it's like, well, really, do we have to? Like, I don't know. But
there's so many people that could be nice people that could be taking this person's place.
Right. Exactly. I'd like to think we're at the point where, like, like nice and talented. That's not like, why do we want asshole and talented?
Exactly.
We don't need that.
Exactly. Well, as I said to you coming up on the elevator, and I'm saying it now, I always am so thankful when actors come to see me on a day when they are going to perform. And you are performing. It's not that far away from us right now. They're probably hearing this siren down there at the theater right now, down the street there, just about 10 blocks in the Lincoln Center area. What is your pre-show ritual? Do you have something you have to do every time? Is there stuff that you do for your various instruments, to get pretentious, or is there something you just, like we were talking about, like, do you watch what you eat on a show night? But are there other things that you need to do?
Generally, I don't. have any specific warm-ups. I think more for me, it's just like peace of mind. Just check the props, check the costumes, make sure I got everything, that I need. That's for me, that's probably, that's about it. Yeah, I think.
You don't have to be there at a certain time.
I like to get, there's always there's a half-hour call. So I'd like to get there a half hour before that. So probably an hour before a show.
Yeah.
So yeah, to me that, I guess if I got there at half hour, I would probably feel a little frazzled. Like, uh-oh. Yeah. And so yeah, I guess that's something like, I like to give myself at least an hour to get there. Like, okay, got to check all the stuff and like, all right, and then just kind of settle into it.
And you're kind of cutting off any kind of thing that might happen, right? When you're there a half hour before the half hour, it's just like if anything goes wrong, I'll recover from that.
Right. Yeah, no, I think ultimately, for me, it's about, because live theater is always going to be, anything can happen. Is exciting, and so it's about mentally trying to eliminate the variables. So just make sure, okay, and so in that sense, you at least if I got this covered, then whatever happens out there, that's going to be something else to, but it's funny. Luckily, I'm not out there by myself so much. Certainly this show, but stuff like, and it's every night the ushers will tell them, like, please turn off your cell phones. Like, invariably one's going to go off, and that can be just like, it really, because it's just such the dichotomy of when you're out there, you want to be open to stuff, but then like you hear a phone go, and like like it's such a strange, because like you don't want to react to it, but like at the same time you're trying to be open to it. It's like, so it's like, please just turn off your cell phone. It's like, it's not that hard to do. But,
and then these old people spend 7 seconds getting it out of their bag. They're mortified too. You can just feel the mortification.
No, it turns into a whole thing. Yeah.
You are one of the rare actors that can get hired to do comedy, can get hired to do drama, can get hired to do theater, can get hired to do film. But is there something that people don't know that you can do, either a genre or some kind of type of role that you wish you could show the world that you can do? Because you can.
Wow. I have never gotten to do the classic shot live in front of a studio audience kind of sitcom. And I would love to do that, because I think that would be the ultimate blend of, it's filmed, but it's also like a play, because they shoot them, like in sequence and like a play. And I would love to, and you get that, immediate feedback. Exactly. I would love to do that, certainly. That would be,
and
put that out there.
They gotta put you in that. Come on.
I would love that. That would be great. Yeah, that would be great.
Feodor Chin, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Back to One is a production of Filmmaker Magazine, which is a publication of The Gotham. Listen to back episodes of this podcast at filmmakermagazine.com or wherever you get your podcasts.